Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. I'm going to make a few videos today, but I want to get on one that I'm getting a lot of questions on, and it's about the credit score algorithm. What are the bureaus using to figure out those 3-digit numbers that figures everyone's credit scores? And I wanted to go ahead and make a video to go over it, and I'm going to talk about something else that is not shown with the algorithm, something else. So you got to watch the video to get the end of that, to know what the other thing that no one really talks about. And I'm going to prove my point at the end, because if I could just give you this template, why wouldn't you have a higher credit score? And this is going to be a lesson for life. So you know, on my Sunday videos, I always talk about some lessons. All right, so payment history is 35% of your credit score. You know if you miss payments, you know if you're behind on payments, that's going to be a big no-no. And the big issue with that, let me tell you, it's more than what you might be thinking, because I used to do this when I was younger, is that when you miss a payment, it's going to take you 24 months to even overcome that that 30-day late payment, to not even show on your credit reports. So not even when you look it up and you're like trying to see, oh, I've done all of this hard work, and then you see that late payment. That's what we have people on YouTube. We have people calling, and they're talking about, can you get this late payment removed? And so let's talk about what you got to do for the late payment to get it removed. And this is something that we actually do not do anymore for clients. We haven't done this for years, because the reason why is because what started happening is that the company started closing out individuals' accounts because it was being disputed. Like, they didn't even read the dispute. The dispute was, hey, this late payment, if sometimes people said that they called and they said that the late payment was not going to be reported, it was reported, or they might just try to get the late payment removed. And just like, you cannot mess with it if you have that account. And if the account is closed, it's still going to be an issue, because you might say, well, because the account is closed, I don't do business with them anymore, I closed off the card or whatever, I just want to have it removed. And if they remove everything, I'm fine with it. Think about what you're saying. Just because they remove the late payment, they're going to remove all of your good history. So say you made 23 months of good payments and you had one late payment, and then you challenged and you said, I want to just have that whole account removed off of my credit reports because I'm not even doing anything with them anymore. They're going to remove 23 months of good payment history. What is that going to do for the algorithm? What is that going to do? It's going to bring your payment history down. If you notice, when you apply for credit, one of the things that they turn a lot of people down for is they say not enough long-term payment history. So that's one of the issues, and that can actually bring your scores down. So the thing that you got to do is you got to be careful moving forward. Some of the stuff that might have happened in the past, let that be the past and move forward. Time is going to always move, so don't get stuck in what you did in the past. Move forward and don't miss any payments. Especially, let me tell you some real deal stuff that I used to go through when I was younger. If you're going to make the payment eventually, make the payment. If you're going to make the payment eventually, make the payment and save yourself the hardship of having to make the payment late and live through what's going to happen with your credit score for years or for months or wherever, however long it takes you to rebound. The next thing is your credit utilization ratio. What are you for what you're using? How much of that are you using it, like a credit card? For the amount of credit that you have, how much of it are you using? One of the biggest things that I see on individuals' credit reports is that they'll go and get those small department store cards, and they're getting a big discount. So it made sense at the beginning, but it didn't really make sense in the end because number one, they added another payment that they didn't really think about when they made that decision to get that discount, and it's usually going to be used, a higher amount than 30%. So if you had, let's just say you had $100, just to make it easy, they said, hey, you're about to spend $100. If you just get this card, get approved, you're going to get 30%. So it's only going to be $70 for your purchase instead of $100. And you're like, well, I'm going to buy it anyway. Why not save the money? But you've done two things. You made a hard inquiry, which is going to make your score come down. And then you've actually done three things. Second thing is you put another account on your reports, and that account is at a 70% rather than a 30%, for even if it's for that small period of time. You've done that. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to just pay it off because I say I was going to pay $100. I'm just going to pay 70 and it's paid off. Let me tell you but the thing that you're not even thinking about also is that now you're starting over your payment history. Remember what I just spoke about? They said not enough long-term payment history. So you're going to get hit with having a new account inquiry, having a new account period that has a 70% utilization on it, which makes your score go down. And then you're going to be starting over with a new account with new payment history from day one. And when they do the average of all of your credit that you have in the payments, it's going to make your payment history come down. You might be saying, well, I've been paying on my car for 4 years. It's going to bring that down because they look at it as an average. They don't look at it as an individual. Length of credit history, 15%. How long have you been paying? We just talked about that. So if it goes into 15% of your scoring for figuring out the scoring, and you just brought on a new account that has 0 payment history, or 1 month payment history, or 2 months payment history, 3 months payment history, what have you actually done? So you have to be very careful. Now, I'm not saying don't add new accounts. I'm not saying don't make those decisions. What I'm saying is make those decisions with the understanding. Understand what you're doing fully, and that might make you make certain decisions, either yes or no decision. Because a lot of times we make decisions without knowing the ramifications fully on those decisions. The next one, new credit, 10%. You see how all of these are kind of stacking on top of each other? They say new credit counts for 10%. The hard inquiries, the multiple new accounts that are added. But they're going to say that's a 10% just with the new accounts. But if we go back to what I just told you, length of account history, starting at 0 or 1 payment. Utilization, where you had 70% usage until you paid off that card, and then payment history, where you dropped down because your payment history now, starting from day one, you only had probably 1 or 2 payments. So you can see, even though they say it's only 10%, like you'll look at it and say, oh, that's only 10%. It's really more than 10% because it's going to figure into all of the other ones. The next one is the credit type, the mix of credit. Do you have a mortgage? Because that's going to be like you own a home rather than renting. They're going to give more power to what you have because you own your home. Even with college, if you got graduated from college, when you did applications for a car, you'll see it says, did you graduate from college or some college or that. They actually graduate people's scores on that. They figure that into there. A credit card, unsecured, is going to be higher than a secured credit card. Regular credit card is going to be more than department store credit card. Regular personal loan that's unsecured is going to be different than a payday loan. Even though the payday loan is unsecured, it's going to rank higher than a payday loan would rank. So you could see that having different types, the type of credit line that you have is going to play a big part on also figuring your scores. Now, we've got to the end of it. Now, let me tell you this is the part that no one ever talks about. Everybody is always into the book. Like, if you give somebody a book and this is exactly how it should work, and if you follow this book, it's going to work. But there's something that is just left out that I've figured out for myself, and I'm going to talk to you about it. Is that your mental attitude? What do you think about yourself? Like, a lot of people leave that out. Like, they think everything is external, like the payment history, my type of accounts, all of that. Do you know that everything that is with what you're doing on your credit reports started right here in your mind? All of the decisions. I was talking to my grandson about this, my 4-year-old grandson. I'm already getting him into the mindset. I believe that he's old enough. They say between the age of 4 and 7 is when we get a full understanding of how well, not a full understanding, but our mind starts to practice and really start doing repetition on how things work. And I told him over and over, I said, where does stuff start? I had asked him about a cell phone. I said, with a cell phone, where did it come from? And he didn't even have an answer. But I bet if I asked you, where did the cell phone come from? You would say, well, it came from the cell phone store. It came from the provider or the manufacturer and all that. The cell phone came from someone's mind. From what was in the mind but materialized into a result. And that's what skipped when it comes to credit scores. That's what skipped when it comes to getting into debt. That's what skipped when working on people, when people are thinking about working on their credit, is that they forget that everything starts with them. So if you don't have the right mindset of where all of this stuff starts, no matter what you do, unless you get lucky, unless someone like pushes you like a coach that just says, hey, you got to do this, and they put a lot of pressure on you, you're going to fail over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with failing, at least if you have in your mind that I'm going to fail forward. But most people fail backwards. That means that they try something, they fail, they go back to where that comfort level was, which was a disaster, and they just quit, and then they start over again, and they go back and they do it again, and they start over again, and then they fall back again. And that's because they don't do the first thing, which is fix what's in your mind. Attitude is everything. And understanding where things come from. Understand where things come from. It comes from our minds. Our minds trigger our body to react, and then we will do the things. But the problem is that if you're not used to doing that, you'll start a little bit and then you'll come back. Then you start a little bit, then you come back. And some people come all the way back. Some people can continue grinding forward. And the reason why they're grinding forward is because they're like manipulating their thoughts to get rid of those bad thoughts. And I want you to be able to do that. Because if you're not able to do that, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be watching my video 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and you're going to say, why do these people get results? And why can't I get results? Why can't I change my life? I'm doing everything that you said. You're not doing everything. You're not doing you're not doing what you need to do for yourself in your mind. There's an old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. You can coach a person with everything. You can give them all the tools, but it's up to that person to utilize them. And one of the reasons why it's hard for some people to utilize them is because of what's in their mind right now. The thought processes, when stuff goes in, they think negative. They think it's going to fail before it fails. They think of all of the bad things before any of that stuff happens. You have to train your mind. If you want it, If you want it, you're going to get it. What do you want? Do you want a high credit score? Well, what are you going to do in your thought process? And it's not about coming to sign up to do something with somebody. It's not about that. The first step is, what are you going to do? What are you going to commit to for yourself? Are you a quitter or are you a winner? And winners don't always win in every game they play, but winners keep playing in the game. Quitters quit after they lose. Are you a winner or are you a quitter? I hope you appreciated this lesson. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process and my 2-phase settlement process. And it is not overnight. It's work. It's grinding. And it might have to do with some settlements for you to be able to move forward. So that's what I want you to think about before you even go to my website. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website, yournumber3scores.com. Grab those because you need everything, all of the information to see where you're at now and to see what you're going to have to do to get to where you want to be at. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, my statute of limitations letter, debt validation letter, and cease and desist collection activities letter to stop debt collectors. Please make a donation. That's the one way that I help monetize my time here on the channel. And I just want to say this. A lot of people grab those letters. They use them. It stops frustration. It stops headaches. It can stop debt collectors in their tracks. But I can say, for me putting those out there, there's a lot of people that's taking advantage of that. And I'm always the type that put my hand out first. But I can say that I'm a little disappointed, and I'll leave it at that. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.